The dress that fell. Zena Benson's apartment looked less like a home and more like a battlefield of wedding planning. Swatches of ivory chiffon spilled across the couch, calligraphy samples were tacked to the wall, and 3 half-eaten cake boxes crowded the counter. At the center of it all sat the dress, her dress shimmering with satin ribbons and silk folds. The dress had made her mother cry with joy and her friends squeal in admiration. It was supposed to be the start of forever, but forever was beginning to feel like a trap. Her fiancé, Darius Moore, heir to one of Atlanta's most powerful families, had been growing distant for weeks. Missed calls, vague excuses, late nights. Zena told herself it was just the pressure of the wedding and his family's endless expectations. Still, the silence gnawed at her. Her phone buzzed, scattering a pile of wedding invitations. It was Mimi, her younger sister and maid of honor. "Z, are you busy?" Mimi's voice was thin, shaky, just buried in frosting samples. "What's up? Can I come over? Now, please." Zena's stomach dropped. Something in her sister's tone wasn't casual. Not stress, not nerves, fear. 20 minutes later, Mimi slipped inside, using her spare key. She looked like a shadow against the fading evening light. Her braids messy, eyes red-rimmed. "I did something terrible," she whispered, clinging to the door frame, if ready to bolt. Zena folded her arms. "What did you do?" Mimi's lip trembled. "It's about Darius." The name cracked through the room like glass shattering. Zena felt her pulse climb into her throat. "What about him?" "We started after the engagement party. Just talking, at first. Then, tears slid down Mimi's face. "I didn't mean for it to happen. I swear. But we couldn't stop. We're in love." The words hollowed Zena out. Her knees buckled, and she caught herself against the bed frame. She looked at the dress, glowing white in the dim light, and felt bile rise in her throat. "You're in love with my fiancé." Her voice came out calm, dangerously calm. Mimi sobbed harder. "I'm so sorry. We wanted to tell you. We didn't know how." "Don't you dare say you love me," Zena spat. "If you loved me, you wouldn't have gutted me in my own home." Mimi's face crumpled, but Zena no longer saw her sister. She saw a thief, a traitor. "Get out." "Zena, please," I said, "get out." Zena grabbed the nearest thing, an uneaten chocolate cupcake, and hurled it. Frosting exploded against the wall beside Mimi's head. Her sister flinched, fumbled for the doorknob, and fled into the hallway, her sobs echoing down the stairs. Silence swallowed the room. The lila on the table smelled suddenly suffocating. The dress gleamed like a cruel joke. Her phone rang again. Darius' name lit the screen, his smiling face frozen in a lie. Zena answered, her voice flat. "Don't you ever call me again." "Wait, Z, listen. Mimi told me. If you step near me, Darius Moore, I'll burn everything that ties your name to mine. The Constitution will have your family's legacy on the front page. Baby, don't you dare call me that. You're dead to me." She hung up and set the phone down beside a photo of her and Mimi's children, arms slung around each other, smiling. Zena's chest tightened. Then, with a sudden clarity, she picked up the dress. Without a sound, she carried it onto the balcony. The humid Atlanta night clung to her skin. She gripped the silk, then let go. The dress billowed like a parachute before crumpling 3 stories below into the alley's puddles and trash. The sound it made when it hit the soft slap of silk against concrete was the loudest silence she had ever heard. The days that followed blurred into a haze of grief and rage. Messages from Darius turned from apologies to justifications. Mimi's text dripped with guilt disguised as affection. "You'll find someone better. You're stronger than me." Her mother stopped by, concerned, but Zena couldn't bear the cloying pity in her voice. Atlanta itself became unbearable. Every corner carried echoes of betrayal, her sister's laugh, Darius' touch. She sold the ruined dress online for a fraction of its worth, closed her fledgling design studio with a flimsy excuse about a family emergency, and bought a one-way ticket to New York City. She arrived with 1 suitcase, no plan, and a heart in ashes. 3 months later, Zena had become a ghost in Brooklyn. Her days blurred into meaningless design gigs, her nights into sleepless stretches of anger and regret. She dressed in black, avoided mirrors, and trusted no one. Until the night she wandered into the Morgan Library. She was studying a Rembrandt etching when a low voice spoke beside her. Such vulnerability, don't you think? She turned. A tall man stood there, tailored suit, sharp features, eyes the pale blue of winter, not conventionally handsome, but commanding. I suppose, she said cautiously, most people see technique. I see the person pressed into the copper, the fear, the honesty. His gaze flicked to her. You understand that, don't you? His name was Christopher Harrington, billionaire investor, widower, pragmatist. Within minutes, he made her an offer that should have sounded insane. I need a wife. For appearances. 2 years, no strings. You'll have financial freedom, a penthouse, your own life. At the end, a clean divorce and a generous settlement. Think of it as a business contract. Zena almost laughed in his face, but the offer lingered in her mind long after he left. His words echoed. You look like a woman who has nothing left to lose. He was right. She signed. Transformation was immediate. Stylists descended on her, reshaping her into Mrs. Harrington. Her natural curls were softened, her wardrobe rebuilt into weapons of silk and steel. The girl from Atlanta disappeared in the mirror. In her place stood a woman who could silence a room. At galas and charity auctions, she became a mystery whispered about in the press. Christopher introduced her with cold pride. My wife, Zena. She learned to smile without warmth, to laugh without vulnerability. She became untouchable. And yet, somewhere in the silences of their penthouse, a strange companionship grew. Christopher never asked about her past, and she never about his. But sometimes, on late drives home or over quiet drinks, their eyes would meet like soldiers who had survived separate wars. Then came the envelope, an invitation to the Atlanta Children's Hospital Gala, her old city, her old ghosts. Christopher read it aloud without looking at her. You'll be with me, he said simply. Her blood turned to ice. Atlanta was the graveyard of her old life, the city where her sister had stolen her future. I'm not going back, she whispered. Christopher studied her, his icy eyes uncharacteristically gentle. Then don't. But understand this, walking into that room won't break you. You already broke, and you rebuilt. Zena stared at him, realizing the truth. Atlanta wasn't her cage anymore. It was her battlefield. And this time, she wouldn't walk in as a betrayed fiancé or a discarded sister. She would walk in as Mrs. Harrington, powerful, unshaken, untouchable. She lifted her chin, the city lights of New York blazing behind her. No, she said. This time, I won't be running.